What are three things that you should know before you give up on your sex life? I talk to a lot of couples and they are just like at the end of their rope. They think things are so bad in their sex life. Like, is it even worth working towards? Because they're just overwhelmed at that point. But before you give up on your sex life, please listen to these three things. Hi, I'm Mary Whitman Ortiz with Limitless Intimacy, bringing you the best tips and tools to create great intimacy in your marriage. And on this channel, we talk about communication strategies and intimacy made simple steps, all from a Christian point of view. So if you're new here, would you please consider subscribing? Also, I'm going to ask you to stay until the end because I have the most challenging question about sex that you have ever heard. All right, now back to today's question. What three things do you need to know before you decide if you're going to give up on your sex life? Well, a little bit of backstory about me. 12 years ago, I was in a pivotal place. I was 2 years out from my divorce and trying to figure out what dating was like. Oh my goodness. And I just had no idea how to gauge what it would feel like to be respected in a relationship. And I wasn't handling it well. As a matter of fact, things got so bad that I found myself in a long distance relationship with a man. He wanted to propose to me even after he admitted he was still married. It's shocking to even hear myself say those words right now. But that's just how dysfunctional my whole outlook towards relationships were. Thankfully, I was so overwhelmed, like shocked to my core by this mess, that I decided to take action. That very first step was confessing my situation to a couple of really close friends, and they thankfully had some great advice for me. They told me about inner healing. And, I'd been reading lots of relationship books. This time I'm going to get it right. But that just wasn't helping enough. And I didn't know why. So I found a woman at my church who was trained in inner healing ministry. And she had also been through her relationship trauma. So the most important thing that she told me was, if I didn't get healing, I would continue to make the same mistakes or worse mistakes. And I was totally on track for those worse mistakes. After several sessions, I finally felt free and some peace that I hadn't known for years and years. And that's when I decided I'm going to incorporate these three secrets to rewrite my relationships, especially in regards to sex and intimacy. So if you are at the end of your rope and you're thinking about giving up on your sex life, and usually that means bailing out of your marriage, I don't want you to do that. So please, hear me out. These are the three secrets that you need to know, and they are inner healing, relationship tools, accountability. Those are the things that are going to put you over the edge in the right way. So secret number one, without inner healing, you will continue to repeat the same mistakes because those ruts are in your mind, in your thought connectors. I mean, it is biological as much as it is emotional. And all of those lies about your identity, wow, they will not only distract you, they will derail you. They will completely interfere with how you want to show up in your relationships. Now, I hope that this is giving you some helpful information. And if it is, would you Give me a thumbs up. Also, I have a question for you to answer in the comments. Do you think inner healing is just some kind of woohoo thing, or is it a vital practice to seriously consider? Okay, secret number 2. Without relationship tools, you will function in what you already know, and you've probably found it is not working for you, even though it seems normal because this is what you've been doing and doing and doing for years. So, but if it's not healthy, you won't make progress. You don't want to keep doing the same thing if it's not working. Secret number 3, without accountability, you may try some new behaviors, but you don't know. Is it working? Is it's not working? Because when things are new, they're slightly uncomfortable. But also, if you're continuing the same habits and just don't realize you haven't made the change, even though you're working and trying, you might miss it. You need an outside, objective point of view. You need some encouragement so that it is safe to try the new things, to get the feedback, and you can find out. If I fall and I fail, and basically it's not if, it's when, then you have this safe space for someone to encourage you, to point things out, to remind you of what your goals were. I mean, accountability is gold, and you won't succeed unless you have that. So, sex and intimacy in marriage is rarely the mechanics of the physical act. It is almost always the emotional and relational components that are going on. It's more of how you see yourself, how you show up in the relationship, how safe you can make the relationship so you can both trust each other, be vulnerable. You have to be able to openly share, and how much grace you give to your spouse to also be learning and developing and maturing. I mean, this is a living thing. This is not a just point A to point B. We have to be there as a whole person for ourselves and for our spouse. Now, listen, do you need some fresh understanding on what husbands and wives uniquely want for sex and intimacy in their marriage? Hey, then I invite you to my free webinar. It's Pillow Talk. What husband and wives uniquely want for sex and intimacy in their marriage, and how to make it happen easier and faster. So I am holding this on Tuesday, April 30th, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll have a link in the comments. Would love for you to join me. And you'll learn how to get out of all that confusion, that never-ending cycle about sex, all those arguments, so you can clearly communicate with confidence, with clarity, and then you can create the atmosphere that you both want for your marriage to thrive. All right, you waited for it, that most challenging question about sex. I need a drum roll here. So here it is. How are you trusting others? You may be like, wait, Mary, I thought you were asking me a sex question. Well, if you are not able to open up and share your needs with your spouse, not like I need you to take out the trash and I need you to help with the dishes. No. Deep interpersonal needs. If you can't share those, then you won't have intimacy, and you cannot have great intimacy without trust. So trust is definitely something for you to be working on. All righty. Thanks so much for joining me today. And remember, God's design for sexual wholeness in marriage is thrilling and fulfilling intimacy.